What's going on, guys? My name is Trevor and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another installment in the top 10 favorite movies of every year I've been alive. We've already done 1999, 2000, and 2001, which means today we are on 2002. So that's what we're focusing on today. My top 10 favorite movies from the year 2002. Let me know your top 10 favorite movies of 2002 down below in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Again, this is a favorites list, not deemed the best, the highest of quality. I think the best picture winner is not even on this list. But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun time. Some of these movies, they hold pure nostalgia. I'll have an explanation for all of them that made this list. Let's get into it. So at number 10 is going to be Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams. I'm a diehard Spy Kids fan, and I was all the time watching this movie when I was a kid. And going back to it now, is it cheesy? Absolutely cheesy, but it holds that nostalgia factor for me. And Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams was my favorite of all the Spy Kids movies. How like Steve Buscemi's character had the map of everything going on this island. That was always so cool to me. And then you see these kids moving over here and these Spy Kids moving over here. They have their gadgets and like these creatures that they're using to their advantage. And it was so cool to see as a kid. And going back now, again, it is a little bit cheesy, but as a kid, I remember loving this movie and I related to the character of Junie so much. And I still do.
Wow.
At number 9 is Ice Age. I was always a diehard fan of Sid the Sloth, and I thought this movie was absolutely hilarious. And rest in peace to Blue Sky Studios, because they made some of my favorite movies growing up. And the first Ice Age movie, while the animation does not hold up today, it still has, again, that nostalgia factor. And I remember seeing this movie in theaters with my family and friends, and loving the little squirrel bits they always did, and him just trying to protect his nut. And doom on you. Doom on you. I always thought this movie was absolutely hilarious, and I love the adventure they tell and the adventure they go on. And Sid the Sloth running through all those penguins with that watermelon. I mean, it was awesome. At number 8, Lilo and Stitch. I absolutely love Hawaii, and every time I watch this movie, it just reminds me of Hawaii. I literally watched this movie just a couple days ago again, and this movie, again, that nostalgia factor, but the character of Stitch was so cool, and this movie was just super duper cool, and I think ahead of its time, and it's rumored they are making this into a live action remake. And I'm on board for it because I love the character Lilo. I love the character of Stitch. I love the way they told the story on the island of Hawaii. It seems like a simple story, but then the simplicity of the island of Hawaii gets invaded by aliens and Stitch and freaking out and having fun. That's what I always loved about this movie. At number 7, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, and the Chamber of Secrets is one of my least favorite Harry Potter movies, but I still had to make this list because of my love for these movies. Coming back to Hogwarts and the whole Chamber of Secrets. Where is it? What is it? That mystery behind it is what I absolutely loved. And the huge snake at the end, still to this day, was absolutely terrifying. While this is one of my least favorite Harry Potter movies, I still had to include it on this list because I love this franchise so much.
Why are you the way that you are?
At number 6, National Lampoon's Van Wilder. This is starring Ryan Reynolds, and it is one of the dumbest movies you will probably ever watch, but I watch this all the time growing up with my friends. My parents went to bed, you turn it on Netflix, and like, you'd watch it. That's what we did, and it was one of the most raunchy, bizarre movies I've ever saw as a kid, but I still love this movie. I go back and rewatch it every now and then, and it's cringy, it's dumb, but something about it just makes me love it, and Ryan Reynolds is just being Ryan Reynolds in this movie like he is with most of his movies, and I'll never get tired of Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, and it's one of those coming-of-age movies. They were in college, and he's been in college for way too long, should have graduated 10 times over, but he still goes to school because he's scared of what the outside world's actually waiting for him. Has a little bit of a deeper meaning in it than I ever thought it would. Is it dumb? Yes, but it never fails to make me laugh. I love this movie. That's why I made the list. At number 5, The Scorpion King. I came for the woman and your head. This is the first time I ever saw Dwayne Johnson in a movie. He's got long hair and ponytails, and this movie made me realize something. I did not like ears as a kid. I thought ears were stupid, and I had no idea what they were meant to do for us. Did not know you're supposed to hear out of ears. This movie made me wish I didn't have ears as a kid. For whatever reason. That's just something I remember watching this movie. But this movie is badass to the absolute max. Has crazy dramatic kissing scenes. And overall, the grand scale of this movie is very impressive. Dwayne Johnson absolutely crushes it. The action is great. The romance is great. The love story is great. I mean, this movie, it's just great. It's not great, but I love it. Do I care if you don't like it? No, because I love it. At number 4, Catch Me If You Can, one of Spielberg's probably more underrated movies. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Rachel McAdams. what else are we talking about here? It is a detective movie, and it's a movie about one of the most interesting people ever. Leonardo DiCaprio's character is like literally one of the most interesting people ever because he's a doctor, he's a pilot, he kind of fools everyone and fakes it till he makes it to the absolute big leagues, while the detective Hanratty, played by Tom Hanks, is after him the entire time. That's why the movie's called Catch Me If You Can, and it's just a wild ride. And I remember watching this movie in school for the first time. I took a criminology class, and we watched this movie, and it was easily the best movie I ever saw on school campus. Went home, bought it immediately, watched it over and over. And again, this is one of Spielberg's more underrated movies. You never see this one thrown at the top, but I think it should be. I think it's a top 5 Spielberg movie. Tom Hanks is great. Leonardo DiCaprio is even better. At number 3, gotta have a superhero movie on here. Sam Raimi's, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. This is still to this day one of my favorite Spider-Man movies because I'm a die-hard fan of Spider-Man. He's my all-time favorite superhero. So as a kid, watching this for the first time with a villain like Green Goblin, I was just head over heels in love with this movie and terrified of Green Goblin. Tobey Maguire was a great Spider-Man and a character you could just relate to. Someone who's down on their luck, never has anything going for him, gets these awesome powers. I wanted a spider to bite me so I could be just like him.
What an idiot.
At number 2, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, 8 Mile. There's vomiting on his sweater already. If you haven't seen 8 Mile of any of these movies, this is the one I 1000% recommend. Marshall Mathers, Eminem himself, plays himself in this movie. He plays the character of Rabbit, as they call him, and he crushes it. Should have damn near got nominated for an Oscar how well he performs in this role. This movie is dark, it's brutal, and it's telling a story of Eminem, how he came up, and this movie is inspirational. You see him at the bottom of bottom, but you see him go all the way up to the top in this movie, and it's just crazy, and it's an underdog story, and he doesn't even go on tour. He doesn't even really become Eminem. He just wins in the little town that he's in, and then he goes right back to work. It's inspirational, it's moving, it's badass. If you're a fan of Eminem's music, you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend you check it out. But at number 1 is going to be Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Well, this is my least favorite Lord of the Rings movie. I still absolutely love it, and the Battle of Helm's Deep is easily one of the greatest battles in cinematic history, if not the greatest. This movie has lots to offer. The way it carries on from the Fellowship of the Ring, to the emotions it brings out, to bringing back Gandalf the White, to that epic freaking battle at the very end, to the humor it brings in here between Gimli and Legolas throughout the Battle of Helm's Deep. It all just works, and Peter Jackson knows how to do action, I would argue, better than anyone. The way he crafts this movie and the way he tells this story is absolutely awesome. The storyline at the end was never one of my favorites, and to this day it still isn't one of my favorites, but I still love this movie from head to toe. While it is my least favorite Lord of the Rings movie, it is still easily my favorite movie of 2002. Let me know your top 10 favorite movies of 2002 down below in the comments section. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Having a lot of fun with this series. Come back within a week because we'll have favorite movies of 2003, which is a very underrated year for movies. I'm excited for all of it. I'll see you guys in the next one.